everyone. Come on in because we are here for Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 15. That's right, Married at First Sight, season 18, episode 15, and they are calling it Cheat and Retreat. Cheat and Retreat. We'll keep the title. It's good enough. I mean, the only other title I might give it is like my thumbnail when I said Nancy Drew Mysteries. Because we got a Nancy Drew on our hands, and her name is Michelle. Woo, we got so much to talk about this episode, y'all. So much to talk about. First of all, Nancy Drew, Michelle. She's an assassin, y'all. Michelle is an assassin. I tell you something. Everything is all well and good when the Nancy Drew assassin is attacking someone you don't like. The problem is when she turned on someone you love. Let me tell you, you could still cheer for Michelle because you know that David and Madison are trash, but there ain't no way y'all can't recognize that what we originally said about Michelle is true. Let me tell you something. Just because she's using that same nasty skill set to tear apart David and Michelle systematically, surgically, methodically, in a way we all probably enjoy, it doesn't change who she is. And who she is still a problem. When you're dealing with people who aren't cheaters, and what's this thing called cheating and retreating, Michelle's approach is a problem. It's just not a problem right here. She thought she was making herself look better this last episode, but I'm going to tell you what it did was she started to make herself look worse. I didn't care what she was doing to David and Madison because they deserved every bit of heat of it. But it didn't really let me like Michelle anymore because it made me realize that, yeah, what I thought about her in the very beginning was true. She's an assassin. She likes to put her foot on people's necks, period, point blank. Girl, but let's get back to the real villains because she's still not the real villain. You know, she may have some ways about herself that I don't like, but I can't really call her the real villain of the show. And Nancy Drew, I'm going to call her Nancy Drew. Nancy Drew solved the mystery. She solved the mystery. Let's recap real quickly, y'all. The fact that, no, they're still telling lies. They said they're not telling lies. They're telling lies. Madison, she's the real mastermind. I'm going to tell you why I think that. She is the real mastermind. Okay. Between David and Madison, who's the mastermind? I'm going to tell you it's Madison. It was confirmed, like I said last time, that this affair started on the honeymoon. It was confirmed. I'll tell you why I know it's confirmed, what happened, what they said, what they did, if you don't believe that. We got to talk about Juan. We got to talk about how Juan is lying to us, y'all. Juan is lying to us. We're going to talk about his lies. We're going to talk about how kudos to Camille this episode. She did a great job not poking at Thomas. Finally, maybe she realizes decision day is coming up and she better chill the hell out. Good for her. But we got a lot to talk about, y'all. But that's my intro. That is my intro. Hope you stick around for all these conversations. And while I play my intro video, please don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to chime down in the comments as we go along. See you soon. Well, we are back, y'all. We are back. And the first part, when we started the scene, we picked up where we had left off the day or week before. And that is Madison saying she had enough. She had enough. I'm going to tell you, she had enough. She was getting up from that table. She said she packing her bags. She getting the F out of there. All of this is just too emotionally draining. Her slip was showing Madison slip started showing. I'm getting the M's mixed up right now here in my video. Michelle, Madison, the M's. I'm just like David. I can't keep track of the M's. But Madison says she was getting the heck out of there. She don't want to be around all this negativity, and she's just so overwhelmed. But then she told a lie. I tell you, Madison is a liar. The reason why I'm so overwhelmed is I'm not overwhelmed because y'all, Nancy Drew is starting to figure it out. That's not why she's overwhelmed. That's what she's saying. She's overwhelmed because of what's going on with MM and oh boy, who we didn't have to see this episode. Girl, get out of here. And then next thing you know, when the ladies are having this little one-on-one powwow, all of a sudden Michelle is sitting over here talking about, how she feels so dismissed. Why is everyone believing David? Why won't anyone let her express her feelings? Girl, you don't have the floor. You, Nancy Drew, we on chapter 2, chapter 3. We riding along with you in this story of yours. But for some reason, you don't feel you're getting enough support. What the heck are you talking about, Michelle? Michelle, what are you trying to do? Start a whole gang? You want all these people to also gang up on David? That's what she wanted. What Michelle was saying was, I don't want to be the only one doing the dirty work. This is what she was saying because, Michelle, this is your business to take care of, right? He is the one doing it to you. Take care of your business. Handle your business, girl. Like I said, you an assassin. I don't care. But what Michelle was trying to do was she was trying to say, well, I want all of y'all ganging up on David. Why all of y'all not asking him no questions? Because first of all, it ain't our business. And second of all, we not you, Michelle. We not you. Nobody was stopping her from expressing her feelings. Everybody kept saying, hey, we was trying to let you have the floor. Have you talk? Have you handle it? We wasn't trying to interject too much. They were trying to keep quiet. Now, to understand all of this was new to them. And a part of what was going on with them as well is they were trying to reconcile the David they thought they knew with the David they're now being presented by Nancy Drew. You see, David did such a good job at fooling everyone on who he was. David and Madison did such a good job on fooling everyone on who they were that now all of a sudden they're thinking David is this great guy. Like Camille said, David is my boy, right? And now all of a sudden you are here telling me that David is trash, basement trash. And we having a little bit of problem reconciling. This is the first clue. When you start to realize how well and thought out this entire love affair has been. This wasn't something that was done on the fly. These feelings that these two had for each other, this hooking up, this love affair started on the honeymoon. It started on the honeymoon and all of their movements became deliberate. Both Michelle and David said to each other that they already knew that they were together and they were going to be together. They already had feelings on the honeymoon. And what they both decided to do was we both cannot come off as a-holes on this show. We can't. So what we got to do is we both got to pretend that we're sticking in there with our partners and we're really trying to work it out. All that time that Michelle had that voodoo doll and she was poking the voodoo doll, and the voodoo doll was David. What David decided to do was, let me pretend I'm still in this with Michelle. But the truth of the matter is exactly what Michelle is saying and what I've been saying is David actually never really gave the marriage a real good chance. He was out at the honeymoon. So the nasty attitude of Michelle, it was nasty in the beginning. It is who she is, right? But he didn't actually try to work through her nasty attitude. He was out from the very, very beginning on the honeymoon. And so was Madison. We now realize it was Madison that actually was the one that probably pushed up on David the most because you heard it coming out of David's mouth the most. She asked me a bunch of questions. She did this, she did that. Madison was the leader in the relationship. She was the leader. And because she was the leader, her lie became she would just keep stringing Alan along so she doesn't look bad. But as Alan figured out in the very end, as he figured out, this was from the very beginning, day one. All of this stuff about Alan having a chance was just one big lie. It was one big lie. Madison chased David in Mexico from the beginning. Now, she didn't have to chase him hard. She didn't have to chase him hard because he was a sitting duck because Michelle was pushing him away. Madison really didn't have to chase David very far. But here's the reason I'm going to tell you that Madison, to me, is now a bigger villain, because people want to say that David was exiled from his marriage from Michelle from the very beginning. And that is the reason why Madison went after David, because she knew that he was exiled from his marriage. And if she don't want you, I'll take you. No, 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 no. What I believe, and we all know how attraction works. We all know how attraction works. If you're attracted to a person, you're attracted to them. You're not just attracted to them because their wife is mad at them or don't like them. You just attracted to them. I believe Madison, from the very beginning, flirted with David from the very beginning as well. From the very, very beginning. She didn't even really wait to figure out whether or not David and Michelle would work. It just happened that they didn't work. When they sat on this couch and gave their little confession later on, Madison started telling more of the truth, that from the very beginning, we had a very strong connection that's undeniable. They both said it. They both exactly said it. Because let me tell you something. In the very beginning, David liked Michelle. He liked her looks. He liked the way that she looked. And what Madison decided to do was, you know what? I know what he likes. He likes blonde-haired, light blue-eyed women, but so what? Her eyes are light enough. They're not blue, but they hazel or whatever they want to call them. They good enough. And what Madison knew from the very beginning was, I like him. I like him. But here's the problem when I say that Madison are the biggest liars of all. But I believe Madison actually is a bigger villain because of the depth of the lies. You see, to pull off what happened in this episode, there had to be a lot of lies told. It wasn't just a lie about gym dates. As we now know, they even started calling it gym dates. So we now know that going to the gym was just a reason to have a date. Like I just said before, David does not even look like he works out. He doesn't look like he works out. So when they were going to the gym all this time, they weren't really working out. They weren't working out their biceps and their triceps and sit-ups. They weren't doing that kind of workout. They was doing another kind of workout. They was talking. They were bonding. And what we also know they were doing, they was humping. That's why he didn't lose no weight in 8 weeks, going to the gym every damn day for 2 and 3 hours. You see, Madison was also the one that was willing to wait up for David when he came home from work every night. Remember, David didn't even get off work until late, 11 o'clock at night. You see, Madison said, that's okay. I see you whatever time you can get off. I will wait up for you. I will create an argument with Alan so that I can walk out the house at 11:30 and come back at 2:30, 3 o'clock. Madison made herself very available for David. If you don't want to say Madison chased David, even though she didn't need to chase him, he was willing and able. You just say she made herself very, very available to David. Very, very available to David. She made it very easy. What time do you want to meet? Don't matter what time of the night. I will be there for you. I will come over there. This is some kind of booty call. Some kind of booty call. So when I tell you the depth of the lies of Madison, they both had to lie about who their essence was. They both had to present themselves as if they were these great people, right? David had to talk about how he was raised and he's his great son and all these other kind of things. But his mama told us from the very beginning what type of woman he was going to need. And she said that he was going to need a woman that was going to keep him on the straight and narrow, because what she knows is her son is an F up. She don't want to say it because she loves her son. She loves her son. I understand she loves her son, but she knows who her son is. And David is an F up. From living in a basement apartment, right, to having these, these different jobs that he's had, failed businesses that he's worked on, not saved up any money when he says he's saving money. Nothing really David told us about himself ever came to be true. Nothing. If you think about it, the story he told everyone never really became to be true, even down to the fact where he tried to tell everyone he's the most likable guy and he loves everybody. He's friends with everybody. That's not even true. In the end, he ended up stabbing in the back Alan that was supposedly his good friend. So even that was a lie. Madison lied about the true essence of who she is. She tried to present like she was this good girl, this all around good girl, right? She's not. She was very just much a villain as anybody else. She sat here and lied to us about who she was. When Alan started telling her she was a party girl, she gaslit Alan and said, I'm not no party girl. So maybe what she's saying is all this time, when she says she's not a party girl, she really doesn't like to go out this much. Maybe what she's saying is because all this time, she really wasn't going to the bar with her girlfriends. She was going over to the basement apartment with David. Maybe she really wasn't out at the bar. That's why she pushed back on being a party girl. I don't go to no parties, but she couldn't tell the truth. You tell us you're going to a party. You say you at the bars. You drinking all the time. But really what they're doing is they're down in that basement apartment with the pinball machine, the pool table, the dartboard, the keg of liquor, and they're drinking and humping. That's what they've been doing for the last 8 weeks. This all started on the honeymoon. Tacos, like I said 2 videos ago. The very first time that tacos were mentioned was on the honeymoon in the middle of the night when David was saying he got tacos. That's what he was saying. They met for tacos on the honeymoon night. That's when they met, on the honeymoon in Mexico. So everybody was bamboozled by David. Like I said, everyone was. Everyone has to wake up this next day after this retreat and say, the David we thought we knew is not the David, and the Madison we thought we knew is not Madison, which is another reason why Sherlock Holmes, Nancy Drew, in the beginning, didn't fully run with her women intuition. Like Alan said at the end, my mother always taught me about women's intuition. And what I'll say about Michelle is, why didn't Michelle run with her women's intuition earlier? Michelle always knew it. Michelle knew it on the honeymoon. Because what Michelle knew on the honeymoon was, here I am with my foot on the neck of this man. Every single day, I'm treating him like trash. But yet he's saying he likes it. And yet he's saying he still wants to try. And what Michelle knew instinctively was, why would you want to keep trying with me when you know how poorly that I'm treating you? And this is why Michelle never trusted David from the beginning, because what Michelle knew she was treating David horribly, because Michelle is an assassin. She knows what she can do. She knows how she can dismember a person. She's done it before. This is not new for Michelle. This little dirty work Michelle is doing is not new to her. And she knows how people normally react when she's doing her dirty work. This is why she kept saying, wow, this is interesting. When I'm interrogating David and Michelle, they're not acting normal, because I've done this before. I'm an assassin. I've put my neck and cracked necks on people a lot of times. I've broken a lot of backs. I've broken a lot of legs. I've given a lot of black eyes. This is what I do out here in the world. And what I'm telling you is, normally when I'm dismembering a person the way I normally do in the world, this is not what they do. They don't smile in my face and tell me they like it and they still want to be with me. So Michelle, from the very beginning, didn't trust David. She knew from the very beginning, this is not the way someone should react when I'm dismembering them, because this is what I normally do. And most people are yelling and screaming and crying and trying to get the hell out of here. But David, on the other hand, is walking around smiling, talking about he likes it. This feels good. I love your honesty. Do some more of it. And Michelle said, no, this is not normal. What's going on? But what Michelle didn't do was, she never suspected Madison. And the reason why she never suspected Madison is because Madison was lying about who she is and what she likes. See, Madison presented to Michelle, like I said the last video, as the woman that Michelle would want to be. You see, Michelle wants to be a city girl. She wants to be sophisticated. She wants to love fashion. She wants to go to nice restaurants with white tablecloths. She wants to live the high life, the fancy life. She wants the corporate America life. That's what she wants. And initially, that is the person that Madison presented to all of us. That is who Madison presented to us. That's why they thought that she would like Alan in some kind of way. But all along, what Madison never told us was she doesn't like any of that. She likes a drinker, a smoker, a man who likes to cuss, a man who likes to wear gold jewelry and earrings, a man who's a rebel, a man who's rough around the edges. This is all what she likes, but this is nothing what she told the experts, and it's nothing what she told the ladies. And so Michelle never suspected Madison because Michelle said, I could see David liking Madison because his only criteria is that you got blonde hair, whether it's natural or whether it's dyed, and that your eyes are either blue or hazel. She already knew that David was simple. He was simple. But she didn't suspect that the sophisticated city girl would like a man like David, who's so simple, who likes to cuss, who likes to take shots early in the morning, who likes to drink, who likes to work out, even though his belly is big as a 6 month pregnant woman. She never suspected it. She goes, no. David may like her, but she will never like David because she put Madison on a pedestal. You see, people put Madison on a pedestal. People put David on a pedestal. Come to find out, neither one of them deserve the pedestal people put them on. They are on the mud. They are in the dirt. They're trash. Michelle running around here calling everybody else trailer trash. Well, lump in Madison with that. Both of them together. Oh, while this is going on, Thomas is like, he too old for this stuff. Thomas said, I came here to find a wife and find a mother who's going to bear my children. And both he and Camille said, we are just thankful not to be involved in this type of relationship. Sometimes it takes a little bit of getting scared straight. Maybe what shook Camille out from complaining about Thomas is the fact that now she's got to realize, do I really care if my man got on a gold chain, or do I want to be dealing with a man like David? You see, Camille was running around talking about David's my boy. Now you can see who Camille, the type of guys she thinks are so great. She thought David was great. So her, like we said before, her picker is off. She over here feeling this affinity for David. He's my boy. But yet she's over here poking fun at the straight-laced Thomas. And now all of a sudden, she ready to lick the boots of Thomas. Are you ready to slob the knob? Now that you know you lucky not to have a David, are you ready to slob the knob of Thomas since you so grateful, Camille? These two end up having some great moments. They have the hot tub moment. They have the time where they get to talk about their future, having children. And Camille was happy because Thomas was painting a picture of her in his future when it came to having kids. She said, yeah, I'm ready to have kids in about 2 years. She says she feels as if she can accomplish her dreams and be a great mom at the same time. She always wanted to be a mother. This is good. They both talked about their fears of having children. They want to be great parents. I know Thomas does. Thomas says, I definitely want to be a whole better parent than my mother who gave me up for adoption. I don't want to be that. I definitely don't want to be that. And Thomas is saying, I sure hope that ain't hereditary. I hope my parents' mothering skills are not hereditary because I don't want to be no parent like that. I might have forgiven her now. I might have built a relationship with her now, but I definitely don't want to be no daddy or no parent like my mama was. But they worked it out. They worked it out enough that it looks like they are well on their way to a yes on decision day and building a happy future for themselves. And if it took this weekend for Camille to see she needs to shut the hell up about her man because there's other bigger problems in the world, then I'm all for it. Like I said, sometimes it takes a moment for you to realize what you have by seeing the hurt that is going on in someone else's life. Sometimes that's what it takes. Sometimes it takes you to see someone sick for you to be thankful for your own health. Sometimes it takes for you to see someone getting dogged out like Alan's getting dogged out for you to be thankful for the man or the woman that you have in your life. It shouldn't take that. We wish we all would be thankful every single day, but sometimes we all can forget. And sometimes we all need a little reminder. And I want to say that this show right here, this retreat, this moment where you got MM dealing with Crazy Ike, and now you got Alan dealing with Madison and David. I'm glad that finally Camille got on her thankful train. She finally got in her thankful bag because all season long, she been in her unthankful bag, the unthankful one. So I was happy to see it. Good for you, Camille. I hope you can stay there. And before we get back to finish talking about David and Michelle, because we still got a lot more to talk about with them, I got to slip in here and talk about Juan and Carla, because let me tell you something. The other liar is Juan. When Juan gonna tell the real truth about why he's not interested in Carla? And we don't want to hear no more that it's about Sage and that it's about psychics and stuff. We don't want to hear that, because although it may not be something you like, I'm with Alan. You don't like me because of the shirt I have on? Nah, it's something deeper. It's something deeper. And Juan can't be honest about it. He too busy over here trying to be a model for ADT and doing an ADT commercial. That was a product placement ad. Give me a break. We know exactly. Juan, is this just a commercial to bring back your modeling days? They're going to have to take full-on headshots because they don't want to get that bald spot in the back, Juan. I know they don't want to get that. So, Juan is over here talking about it feels so good to feel safe. He's another person looking at what's going on out here, looking at how Madison is doing Alan all wrong. And now he's over here feeling grateful to Carla, serenading her and singing her songs by the fire with a guitar. Finally, all of a sudden, he's starting to tell Carla what's some good things about her, because he's seeing how poorly Madison has treated Alan. But all of a sudden now he's like, oh, I'm so glad me and Carla are not that way. I really do appreciate your honesty, Carla. Everybody's appreciating everybody now that they've seen how poorly Madison and Alan have treated their partners, as the assassin, Michelle, takes them all down. Nancy Drew, the assassin. He said, I'm just so happy Carla has made this a wonderful experience for me. What are you talking about, Juan? Spill the truth. What's really going on? And like I said, I don't want to hear nothing about this Sage and psychic. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that. And I kind of don't even want to hear that it's all about the fact that he's just not attracted to Carla. Let's be honest, Juan. Let's just tell us what your type is. At least David was honest and told us his type. What's your type? I think your type is a white woman, just like we've always said. That is your type. And although you got on this show saying you want a person to understand your culture, your language, your food, your dancing, your history, one is you wanted that to come in a white woman, and you also wanted that to come with a woman who is ambitious with a career. Let's just be honest. That's really what it's about. He can't marry Carla. He don't even want himself to even start feeling for Carla. You actually can see moments with Juan where if he let himself go, I think he will actually start liking Carla, but he don't want to like Carla. He actually does not want to like her. And I said, that's what I said goes back to her childhood history. He's over here singing songs about how Dr. Pia and Pastor Cal and Dr. Pepper is teaching him how to get in touch with his emotions, trying to have him learn how to open up. Carla didn't come on here to be your therapist. She didn't come on here to do no sound bath for you, to heal you. She came on here for a husband, but you came on this show very, very much unhealed, Juan. Why are you here? You should have never been on this show. You came on this show damaged. And now you want to talk about all Carla's sound baths. You want to talk about how she's saging you to get rid of bad aura and all this other kind of stuff. But it looks like that's exactly what you needed. Isn't it ironic that Juan sits on here and talks about how he doesn't like this woman, Carla, who does all this introspection and who pulls out, works on your inside so you can be better on the outside. He don't like a woman like that. But come to find out, that's the exact kind of work he needs. The exact kind of work he needs. He don't need no work on career and ambition and getting money, but that's what all he wants to talk about, business. But yet when someone wants to go on his insides and really start looking at it, and when that woman is his wife, all of a sudden now, that's not what I want. It may not be what you want, it's what you need. You actually need a person who's going to help you get in touch with your feelings and your emotions, Juan, because you don't know how to do it. You don't know how to do it. You keep going for surfacey things, money, career, ambition, the color of a woman's skin, the color of her hair, surfacey outside things. And you wonder why you're not happy, because you're not happy because you're not actually feeding your soul, because you know what? You ain't even in touch with your soul. You're not even in touch with your soul. It's like spraying perfume over a funky body. What's the point of spraying yourself with a bunch of perfume if you're funky? You need to take a bath. Take a bath. And that's what Juan needs to do. He needs to take a bath. Like I said, Carla, you need more than a sound bath. You need a sound swimming pool. And the first person you need to put in it is Juan. I'm so sick of Juan on this show with his completely unawareness. I was sick of him when he was over there trying to give Alan advice when Alan was going through his mess. Shut the hell up, Juan. You don't know jack shit. You don't even know nothing about yourself, let alone come over here trying to tell Alan how he should handle his emotions. How the hell you gonna come tell Alan how to handle his emotions and you can't even handle your own? You don't even know your own emotions. Don't tell me you can relate to my emotions because you don't even allow yourself to feel nothing. Get out my face. Every time somebody's showing emotion, every time somebody's going deep, Juan got a problem with them. I got a problem with Carla because she tries to go too deep all the time into your emotions and get in touch with her chakra and her aura. I don't want nobody like that. When Alan is over here having his moment and calling that girl a hoe and a bitch, good. I'm glad he did say it. At least he got in touch with his emotion. Here, Juan over here telling him, don't do that. Don't get in your emotions too much. Nah, he can say it. He can say it. He was okay with saying it. Stop trying to tell everybody to hold their emotions in like you do, Juan. That ain't a good look. Don't nobody want to be you all constipated with their emotions. No wonder he's over there blowing up the toilet all the time like Carla said. Carla said he blew up the toilet. You know why he blew up the toilet, Carla? Because he holds his emotions in so much. By the time he sit on that toilet, all that shit just got to come out. It got to come out in the toilet, but he don't know how to express it in a happy, healthy way. He want to hold it in. Then when he sits on the toilet, it just explodes. I would make him clean the toilet too, Carla. I'm with you. Don't be going back and cleaning up no toilet after Juan because he kept all them emotions bottled up inside of him. And then next thing you know, when he go to the bathroom, it's like a bomb going off and you want me to come clean it up? Hell to the no. Juan's so bottled up, sexually pent up aggression. He's sitting over here going to the pottery class, using all these sexual innuendos. Let's beat the mountain. We know what you're talking about, Juan. Let's beat the mountain. You got to work it with your hands. You know what? They over there talking about, did you pull it out? Do you want me to put my finger in it? Do you want me to make the pole bigger? Do you want me to go deeper? You want me to go faster? You want me to go slower? You need me to put some water in there so you can squirt a little bit? Go sit down, Juan. Go sit down. He's so uncomfortable with his emotions. He can't have conversations about them in a serious way. They've always got to be presented in some kind of funny, foolish way, as if it's a joke. He got to write a song about it and make it some happy-go-lucky song because he got to pretend like it's not a really true song. He's got to act like he's in a pottery class and he's really just talking about pottery. No, he's not. Juan did not want himself to feel nothing for Carla. He made sure of it. He made sure of it because what he didn't want is he don't want Carla to also expose all that stuff inside. Carla was the wrong one for Juan because Juan did not want a person like Carla who's going to expose his inside. What Juan wants to be known for is his outsides. That's what he wants to be known for. He wants to be known for how good he looks, how much money he makes, how successful he is. He don't want to be known and valued for his inside. And he knew from the very beginning that's what Carla was looking for. Your insides. She wants to go deep. Another liar on this show that should have never been here. In the end, he told Carla, you know what, Carla, we doing all right. You're not doing all right, Juan. Maybe for you, for your history of the way you do, it looks all right. Because what Juan thinks is, I made a lot of progress on this show. I never even done all this work I'm doing. So we doing all right, Carla. He talking about, it may not be perfect, but it ain't all shit. It's shit, Juan. Just like that toilet you sit on. It's all shit. It is all shit because you wasted Carla's time. You wasted her time. But as we get back to David and Michelle, when Michelle was doing her investigative work, her Nancy Drew work. And in the beginning, when David really still wasn't ready to confess that Tiffany is Madison, right? You know, and David's apologizing to Michelle, still lying, talking about it really is Tiffany. But he says, I just want to keep continuing my line, let you know that I am a great man and I was raised by great people. And he was trying to say that, he was trying to be patient with Michelle all this time. And he was just holding in. Basically, he was saying that he kept trying to be patient with Michelle. No, you weren't. You were out from the very beginning. From the very beginning, you were out. And what David is believing and saying is, the problem is, Michelle, that I wasn't getting the attention from you that I needed. And that he's saying that in the beginning, I didn't even think that I needed it. I didn't think that I needed all of this attention. You see, once again, like I said, David doesn't even know who he is. David was believing that he was this guy who isn't an attention whore and he didn't need all of this attention. Because what David is saying is, I even learned that I love a lot of attention. What do you mean, David? You a mama's boy. What do you mean you didn't know you loved a lot of attention? You a mama's boy living in the basement apartment so you could still be next to your attention. You love attention, David. But he said, I'm just now realizing how much attention I love. And the way that I realized it is because I was getting a lot from Madison. That's what he's saying. He's saying it was when Madison started asking me a bunch of questions and taking an interest in me and really loving on me and telling me how great I am that I realized how much I like it. And once I realized how much I liked it, Michelle, I realized you weren't giving it to me. This is the other clue. This was the other clue to let you know who was the person who was also applying pressure. It wasn't all on David. See, we can't believe that David just completely pursued Madison. David is giving us big hints. And later on, we're going to see that Madison even admits to it, that Madison felt it for David from the very, very beginning. From the very, very beginning. But there we here talking about we thought we was going to be each other's ride or die. Michelle is just lying. She thought that she was coming on the show for her ride or die. But the minute she saw him and learned one thing about him, she knew right away he wasn't going to be her ride or die. What she knew was she was going to ride him until he dies. She was going to ride him like a bull until he dies. Because like I said, Michelle is Nancy Drew, the assassin. And she knew right away what she was going to end up doing to David, tearing him apart. But Nancy Drew's over here talking about, you lying now. Why should I believe you? You've been lying this whole time. You still lying because what Michelle knows, she knows that at this point in time, even though David's still talking about Tiffany, Tiffany ain't Tiffany. Tiffany is Madison. All this, I deleted Tiffany's number from the cell phone, because I didn't want to be tempted no more. I tell you, Nancy Drew is something else. And she's so good that when she finally confronted Madison on it too, we're going to jump ahead a little bit and jumble this all up. When she finally confronted Madison on it as well, and Madison also wanted to prove that she wasn't talking to David. I said, first of all, Madison, you should be smart enough to delete your text. Why are you going to get a phone to prove you're not talking to David? And then you think that's going to be enough proof? Girl, this ain't going to be enough proof. But even when she gets the phone to come and prove that she wasn't talking to David, Nancy Drew says right there, see at the top of the list, most recent call, it was David. It was David. The mastermind left a fingerprint. Let me tell you something. A good detective always knows if you look long enough, you will find the evidence. Even the best criminals are going to leave behind a clue, some DNA or something. And like I've been saying all season long, there was a lot of DNA left behind. And the person who got the DNA was the dog sniffing Loopy. To be honest with you, I think Michelle, Nancy Drew, actually needs to take Luffy from Alan, and they need to perform a private investigation team. You're going to have Nancy Drew and the dog sniffing Loopy, because he sniffed out all that DNA in Madison's panties. He done sniffed out that DNA long time ago. Between Loopy and Michelle, they would make a great duo. Michelle was right when she picked up on David's I don't give a F attitude, because at this point in time, you realize that David could care less about what Michelle thinks. He actually could care less that he's gone over here and slept with another woman, because David stopped caring for Michelle on the honeymoon. On the honeymoon, he stopped caring. Now, I'm going to give you another clue, hint, tip of why I say that Madison was the mastermind, because what I believe is that David wanted to stop lying a long time ago. There was nothing in it for David to continue lying. Nothing in it. Because even in their contract, there's no rule that David couldn't fall in love with Madison. So even if the jig was up and he said, I really have feelings for Madison, Married at First Sight couldn't fine him for that. They could have made him stay in the marriage. That's fine. But I believe that David wanted to confess and give all this up earlier. I think he stayed with the lie because Madison wanted to stick with the lie. Madison tried to ride that lie till the wheels fell off. You could see that there was a point in time when David didn't give an F. And once Michelle realized that all of this work that David was doing in the marriage, he's calling it work, in the honeymoon, wasn't real work. What that was acting. And that's what Michelle realized. What Michelle realized was that all this time, David is saying he's working on the marriage and he's trying to get through to me in all my walls. He wasn't really doing it, because what David told us was the biggest joy of his life that made him so happy was every day when he went to the gym and he saw a smile on Madison's face. That gave him a smile. That was his biggest joy. That's what he looked forward to every day. So like I said, be careful when your husband and your wife come home from work happy too much. When they coming home from work happy, that means there's somebody at work that makes them happy. You better off having a person coming home complaining, talking about they don't like that damn job. Because if they going to work every day talking about, oh, I love going to work, but yet they not getting no promotion and they're not making no more money. Why you like a job that ain't promoting you, ain't making no money, and a job that doesn't really actually value you? Maybe it ain't the job. Maybe it's somebody at the job. You see, that's what was going on with David. David really don't like the gym. He don't really want to work out. He was going to the gym for his gym dates because he was going there for Madison. And when he came home from the gym with a smile on his face and told Michelle that, listen, I love everything you do. It's sexy. And he was like, I'm willing to keep working on it. That smile that he had for you, Michelle, was not for you. It was Madison. When David texted, you look so damn fine, I want to eat you up. That was not the opening line for when you want to all of a sudden let a girl know you like her. No, that's a line you say after you've already eaten her up. You see, they want to pretend like that text was the beginning of it. That wasn't the beginning of it. For you to text a person, you look so damn fine, I want to eat you up, that means you already ate her up. You already ate her up long time ago, and now you're just comfortable talking about it. These folks have been eating each other's tacos since Mexico. The reason why Michelle Nancy Drew kept going was Michelle didn't just want to kill David. She wants David to feel excruciating pain. You see, an assassin, they could just put a bullet in your head and take you out, right? No pain, you won't feel nothing. Or they can dismember you slowly but surely, one finger at a time, one toenail at a time. They want to torture you. Michelle, because of who Michelle is who we knew from the very beginning, she likes to torture. That's really what she likes to do. And like I said earlier, it's okay to watch it when it's someone you could care less about, which is Madison and David. And it looks like next week we get to see her really drill down on Madison. But it doesn't change who Michelle is. She is who she is. You see, Michelle is one of those people. She too got another life. She can present this life over here like she's a city girl and she's so sophisticated and she wants to go to the wine bar and she wants to eat sushi and she can get a fashion stylist. But she can't get rid of her days being in that small town trailer park where she's seen people get destroyed bit by bit. And she picked up a technique back there and she carries it with her. And when she needs to whip out that, she knows how to whip it out. That's who Michelle is. Like I said, Michelle also is a person who I said before has come on this show and she's lied. She tried to present herself as one way, but Michelle is mean and dirty and evil. I don't care that she's doing it to a person I don't like. I still know who Michelle is to her core. And she can come on the after party. She can put on a sunny yellow dress. She can put on makeup and she can smile and she can do all that stuff. But I know who she is. The reason I know who she is because what I've seen her do, what her friend has said about her, the way she talked about her family, and the fact that she tells us about her dating history. That's who she is. And she's not that way because of David. It's who she is. And all of this, I mean, the really only true victim is Alan. I mean, there were so many parts in the show in the beginning where I was like, Alan, wake up. Wake up, Alan. It's time for you to wake up. You can't be this naive. I mean, Nancy Drew has laid it out for you. What do you need? Pictures? What do you need? You need a YouTube video? What do you need, Alan? She's trying to wake you up. She's trying to make you put the pieces back together. But Alan wants to live in a fantasy world so bad. He doesn't want to wake up. He doesn't want to admit what he sees is what he sees. What he hears is what he hears. In the beginning, he's trying to not believe it. He doesn't want to believe it. Like he said, I just spent $3,000 on this hoe. I can't believe she played me like an MF. She played you all right. She completely played you. She played you so she wouldn't look bad. All this stuff about Madison really giving Alan a chance. Nah, she was doing all this so she wouldn't look bad. This had nothing to do with liking Alan. The only reason she played this role was so that she didn't look bad. Now, she don't even have no respect for Alan. No respect. Because if you had a respect for him, there's no way you could sit here and lie in his face like this all the time. Madison said it from the very beginning when she told Alan that he was weak and he was a pushover and she didn't like it. She told him this on day one. And what she said on day one was, you were weak, you were a pushover, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be the one that pushes you over. That's what she did. She already knew what she could do to Alan, the way she could use him, bend him, do whatever she wanted to do, and that's what she ended up doing. This girl let that man sit there and spend $3,000 on clothes as if he had a chance. You see, this is why Madison never even kissed Alan. Never even kissed him, right? If you so busy working on this relationship, why wouldn't you at least kiss him? She couldn't kiss him because she had already been kissing on David. She couldn't be kissing on David and kissing on Alan at the same time. That's why she never kissed Alan, because she was never working on this relationship at any point in time from the honeymoon. Just like Madison said when she was in that stylist, if I saw Alan in a bar, I wouldn't even approach him. That's what she said. But when she saw David in the gym, she approached David. She let us know she's comfortable approaching. She's comfortable being assertive and approaching a man, even if it's a married man. I wouldn't be surprised if Madison has had some married men in her past. She keeps saying that she's always getting with men that don't commit. Why don't they commit? Because they got other women? Because she has no problem with it. She has no problem. Be careful when people start talking about the people in their past who they dated and how they were horrible people, because you got to always remember they chose those people. So instead of focusing on why the people were horrible, you got to focus on, well, why would you choose a person like that? Are you more like that than you want to admit or than you know? Because, Madison want to talk about she was always with men who didn't want to commit. Well, maybe they didn't want to commit because they couldn't commit. Maybe they was married. Maybe they already had girlfriends, but you was willing just to approach them anyway. You talk about how girls didn't like you in high school, how people talked about you, and supposedly it was, you said it was because your looks. I don't know. But you said, didn't you say you're so beautiful? Maybe girls didn't like you because you was always flirting with their boyfriends. Maybe girls didn't like you because you was always pushing up on their boys. You see, you got to really ask people questions. Don't always just ask the questions by what they say. You just got to start asking yourself, this is not Madison's first rodeo pushing up on a man that already had a wife or a girlfriend, because she knew what to do. She was very well versed. Her lie was She was the mastermind. She was the one that kept this lie going. David wanted to stop lying a long time ago. Not Madison, though. Madison says, no, I like sneaking behind in the cover of the night, dipping and diving out the house at 11:30 at night. She was willing and ready to do it. She's the side chick, y'all, that, if you marry, that, is willing to meet your husband anywhere, anytime in a hotel room. That's Madison. She says she don't care. Any time of the night you want to meet me, I'll be there. Aren't these people going to work? Do you stop working doing Married at First Sight? So you mean to tell me Madison is waiting up late at night for David to get off work at 11 and 12 o'clock at night so she can hang out with him to 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning? Then what? Get up and go to bed? Go to work the next day? Girl. Goodness. Alan over here trying to preach to David, talking about, yeah, me and Madison, we went through our ups and downs. Alan, be quiet. Be quiet at this time. At this point in time, David is probably looking at Alan saying he's a fool. He's a complete fool. And he really wanted to tell Alan the truth. He couldn't really wait to tell Alan the truth. When David and Madison finally got together, David was so happy. When Madison finally gave David the go ahead to say, okay, we're going to stop lying now. The producers even want to stop lying because at this point in time, the producers have already known too. They got cameras everywhere. They've been seeing everything. They know what's going on. Even the producers are saying, okay, this lie is going on too long. We are already on episode 14. Y'all, the gig is up. Y'all gonna have to come clean. The producer finally told Madison, girl, is there any truth to it? Because we know there is. Are you ready to confess? Are you ready to confess the truth? And so finally Madison said, fine, let's confess the truth. And so when she tells David, let's start unfolding the truth and come up with this lie that we just like each other and we have a bond, but it's time to let the cat out of the bag. And David started grinning from ear to ear saying, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've been wanting to do this since the very first time that we humped. When we first got back to Chicago on that first night when Madison didn't come home and we humped that night, I've been wanting to say it since then. I've been really wanting to say it since Mexico when we were having all our gym dates and eating all them tacos. But let me tell you something. I'm really, really excited about being able to expose this because I don't care about Michelle and I know you don't care about Alan. They over here playing this silly game about who's most likely to do what and all this other kind of stuff. Who's most likely to cheat? Who's most likely to swap partners? If they playing games like this with these questions, they already know it's true. The fact that they even came up with these questions, producers, you already know that folks are cheating and folks are swapping partners. You already know it. Instead of playing, who did what, who's most likely to do what they was really playing, what Nancy Drew was really playing was the game Clue. For all you young people, who were the characters? The professor, Mrs. Peacock, Miss Scarlet. We know who the Scarlet is. Where did they do it? They did it with the candlestick in the library. That's what they should have been doing. The game Clue. Colonel Mustard did it in the library with the candlestick. That was the game they should have been playing. Because Michelle had to lay it out for Alan and say, think back, Alan, when you was going to them bars and you went with Matt, you went with David, you went with Carla. You see, Madison used Carla too. Madison used Carla. You always need like, really what Madison was using Carla was to be her wing person so that Carla could come and keep, Alan occupied so that she could make up a fake story like she lost her phone in a whole busy bar and they had to go find it. You see, you start to think about all the planning that Madison did to create these little rendezvous. It was Madison. Madison created all because that's why David was such a horrible liar with the story about Tiffany. And that it was about food with the cousin, you see, because that was unscripted. That part was unscripted. Madison had laid out the script of how they were going to lie to everybody. But what Madison didn't count on that was David was going to send her this message about, I want to eat you up. You see, David went off script. He went off script. He really wasn't supposed to be sending no text messages like that. but he sent it. And as a result, it went to the wrong person because he's not as good at this. He's not as good at lying. He may lie a lot, but he's not good at it, you see. But Madison said, you went off script, David. And so now all of a sudden you got yourself on a kerfuffle because you lied, but you didn't come up with a good lie. But Madison, she always thought things out. She always said, okay, whenever we go to the bar, we're going to call another person to join us at the bar so that it feels more like a group. And then what I'll do is I'll come up with a reason to separate from Alan as if I'm going to go hang out with Carla. And then as Carla told us, they got to the second spot and they dumped Carla. So they got Carla to the second spot. The next thing you know, they dumped her and they went off on their own. Have y'all ever had this girlfriend? When you was back in high school, did you ever have a friend whose parents were real strict? I did. I had a girlfriend whose parents were real strict. And so what she would do is she would always say that she's coming over my house or she going out with me. But really what she was doing was she was going over there to meet some guy. So, she say she's coming over my house. She get to my house and then, call her parents and say, oh, I'm over here. This is what we doing, whatever else, blah, blah, blah. And then next thing you know, 15 minutes later, there's this guy coming picking her up. You see, that was what Madison was doing. She would use Carla and other people. And then when they finally got there, she would go off with David. Madison is the mastermind. She is the mastermind behind all of this. David, I want to say that he's the muscle, but he ain't got no muscle, but he definitely ain't got no brains. David's not smart. He couldn't cook up all this stuff. He couldn't. Madison cooked up all this, y'all. I'm telling you, Madison cooked it all up. Once Nancy Drew started laying it out to Alan saying what you thought you saw was not what was going on. You thought you was going home. You thought Madison was going home. Now you realize she wasn't with Carla. She was with David. It starts to click. He gets so angry. He starts to cry. He starts to realize what's really going on. And I tell you, my heart broke for Alan. He's punching cabinets. He's destroying the house. He's doing a whole lot of damage. He really is. And it was really hard to see him broken up this much after he just told this woman that I have feelings for you. You got a spot in my heart, a hole in my heart. I didn't spend $3,000 so I could look good for you on clothes. I didn't spend at least another couple of thousand on this Invisalign to straighten my teeth out. I mean, he done dropped 5 bands trying to be the man this woman wants because she's running around talking about it's all about how you dress. And we look at David. When have we ever seen David in anything else than some shorts and a t-shirt? Never. He don't even comb his hair. The fact that Madison made Alan buy all those clothes, but yet David don't even comb his hair or always looks like he rolling out of bed. Are you kidding me? Even when Michelle started confronting Madison, she still tried to lie. When Michelle got to Madison and started talking about that bar night, Madison was going to try to gloss over the fact that actually, when you guys got to that bar, Alan went home. You see, she wasn't even going to confess to it to Michelle. Michelle had to tell Madison, I already got that piece of information, Madison, so you don't need to lie about it. I've already heard from Alan. I've already heard from Carla. I already know the truth. That's when Madison said, oh, yeah, Alan had left. It was just me, Carla, and David. But then she didn't tell the other part when Carla said, nah, but for 30 minutes, she was on the floor dancing on the floor by herself. And Madison and David had even gone off. Madison was still going to lie to the very end. And also what really irritated me with Madison is through all this, when Nancy Drew was doing her work, the assassin, all Madison kept doing was smiling, smiling and laughing. All this fake smiling and laughing, it really got on my nerves because once you knew how much of a liar she was, then you started to say all of her expressions were so inappropriate. Anytime Michelle was talking about what David was doing, how he was lying, how she didn't believe him, all Madison was doing sitting over there was laughing. Oh, is that what he did, girl? Laughing. Everything was funny. Everything was a joke. All of this to cover up her lies. I'm telling you, she is the villain. She is the laughing villain. When David finally told Alan the truth, I need to talk to you. Alan said he knew right then and there that everything that Michelle was been saying was true. And David sat out there and talked about how they had a connection from the very beginning. And that she knows more about me and asked me more questions than my own wife does. And Alan appropriately said, F you and F her too. Thank you. That's exactly what you should say, Alan. That's exactly what you should say. F you and F her too. When David and Madison had their little sit down and they finally was ready to confess to the cameras that this has been going on for a while. And Madison all of a sudden says, I just want to be honest with you, David. I had instant chemistry with you at the gym. Girl, this ain't the first time you said this. This ain't new. She act like this is new information she's telling David. And David saying, yeah, because I got along with everybody except my wife. You got along with everybody because you was lying. You were lying. You were pretending to be someone that you weren't. I mean, if you had presented your real self and who you really are, maybe you wouldn't have got along with everybody. You got along because you weren't presenting who you are. Don't tell me, oh, you got along with me, but in all that time, I didn't know who you really were. Now that I know you, I don't like you. And Master, I know I like you more than I should. They both talk about how they should like each other more than you should. Yeah, you shouldn't have. It should have never gotten here. You see, that's what I'm saying was foul about them. This didn't have to happen until after the show was over. It really didn't have to happen until after the show was over. But what I said from the very beginning, that these two people were undisciplined. They were. They're reckless. It takes two reckless people to even find themselves in this position. And they just went with it. The recklessness of the way that they got together is what is so foul. I know they're going to try to paint the picture that we're just two people that fell in love. Because at this point in time, we already know that these two are still together. We know that these two are still together now. So I'm sure by the time we see them on Where Are They Now, they're going to tell us that they love each other. That's what they're going to tell us. And it could be true. I'm not going to say it's not true, because really, honestly, in this moment, I felt like they wanted to say that. They really couldn't go all the way. Honestly, the way that Madison was crying over David in this episode, I feel that Madison is in love with David already. I'm going to say it. She's in love with him already. The way coward Madison ran when David went and finally told Alan the truth, and Madison was running in the bedroom, hiding in the hallway, hiding in the closet, talking about, does he want to talk? Oh, good. He don't want to talk. She didn't want to talk to him. It just shows you what real lack of care and concern she really had for Alan. Even in that moment, she was happy Alan didn't want to talk, because she didn't want to talk to him. She didn't want to face the music. Madison is in love with David. She's in love with David. And because she was in love with David, there's not a whole lot of room to even pretty much care about Alan's feelings at all. Not at all. She knew he was hurting. She knew she didn't want to look like this. She might have known she wouldn't want a person to hurt like that. But in the big scheme of things, Madison was doing exactly what she wants to do, and she wants to be with David. She's in love with David. When they were sitting on that couch and David took a sip of water or drank in that cup after Madison, that told you they're right then there too. This ain't the first time you guys have kissed, because that they didn't kiss. These two have been intimate already. And the fact that they're still lying to us now and not telling us that part just tells you how much of a liar they are. Madison over here talking about we don't have to jump into anything too soon. Girl, you already in it. You already in love with him. What are you talking about? But I think we could have a real shot. And David talking about, yeah, I think we could have a real shot too. Could have a real shot. You already got a shot. You already in a relationship. You already been talking about these gym dates. You two are already in a relationship. You just in a situationship. It is the two of you. Alan tried to ask David, has it been physical? He said, no, it hasn't been physical. Nothing's been physical. That's a lie. That is a lie. We just have a vibe. And Alan, I saw you as a friend. You're not a friend when you with a friend like David. You don't need no friends. I mean, the assassin Nancy Drew, she summed it up right in the very end. She said that David is dishonest. He's trash. He's not a man. And you even do this to your friend Alan. And Michelle didn't shed one tear. She didn't shed one tear. She's very professional when she's dismembering a person who she's come to do some work on. And Michelle could have cared less about the fact that David doesn't want to be with her. Michelle was here to do a job. It's a job that she relishes, a job that she takes seriously, a job that she's very, very good at, and she's been doing it a very long time. And she said, I'm just here to do my job. I really don't care if David wants to be with Madison or whatever. And she could care less. She did not shed a tear over David. All that crying Alan was doing, she said, I'm sorry that what I said had to be true. I'm sorry that you're hurt over this, but I came here to do a job and I'm going to get my job done. Like Michelle told us, she a hard worker. She is a hard worker. So I can't wait to the next series next week to see how she drilled down on Madison. And like I said, we need to bring Loopy back so the two of them can be a good dynamic duo. Michelle and Loopy sound like a great series. But anyway, that's it, y'all. That's all I got. Talk to y'all later. Bye.